then, did you notice on the announce desk, Brian? There are 3 cans of Woo, not 3 6-packs. 3 cans of Woo on the announce desk with a partition in between the announcers and the drinks so that the announcers can't possibly reach them to drink them on the air.
And the viewer at home can't even see what they are.
And they never get a close-up. You know, if you know what they are, you recognize the can shape and the colors, but otherwise, it might be Pringles. But I'm at a loss to explain why it looks like a display that's been left unfinished. If they're going to put them up there, put enough up there to fill the screen, or put a fucking placard or a
3. They're not even a 6-pack.
Yeah, not
Put
even
3 out.
Well, I know it's because doctors advise that you only drink one of these a fucking day, and there's 3 announcers there, but they could give a disclaimer down at the bottom. Warning, announcers have been warned not to drink any of these while on live television for fear of possible FCC repercussions.
You think the money guy's like talking to Rick? Hey, can you say something to Tony? What's going on with the sponsorship? Hey, don't worry about it. Woo! And then nothing happens.
Well, they went from that desk shot to Tony with Shivani with Sting and Flair. And they're talking, and March 3rd, they made the announcement, and this is, I think, very apropos, and at least Tony's done something now that they can market potentially in the actual area they're going to do the event in. March 3rd, his retirement takes place in Greensboro at the Coliseum. And I would think because of the level of interest and knowledge of wrestling that a lot of the media still has down there, and Flair's name and Sting's name and the Greensboro Coliseum, they'll be able to sell this locally to maybe sell some fucking tickets. But nevertheless, did you see that the suit that Flair was wearing made him look like a gold-wrapped Godiva white chocolate?
You would almost think he has a much younger girlfriend who's just playing tricks on him or something, the way he dresses.
Well, no, silly wabbit. Tricks are for kids. These suits are for grown-up adults. I've never seen, I hope he lives to be 100, but I've never seen a man that age dress in Christmas wrapping paper.
I always wanted to be the Mad Hatter. Woo! It was a weird energy promo, wasn't it? Like the whole it was definitely pre-taped, I think.
Well, yes.
The whole energy of it was like slow and weird, and then Flair started doing his thing.
Well, see, that's the thing, because it's a pre-tape, and Sting has never been the promo guy, and you know, he was putting Flair over and being all nice, and you could tell that Rick knew it needed to come up a notch a little bit. And I mean, I don't know how many notches Rick has these days before he hurts himself, but goddamn, as he was putting Sting over and getting more into it, he turned 6 shades darker of red facially. I mean, he started out as he had normal skin tone, and my God, I thought my TV was going on the blink by the end of the thing. He was glowing.
He just had a strawberry woo energy. It turns you red. Imagine if he had the lemon one.
That's like that urine pill JR gave me that one time. It turned my piss red. I almost took myself to the hospital. But anyway, that's so there you have that. And then we were ready for the next tournament match. Well, go ahead. You had something else you wanted to ask.
Any other thoughts about doing the pay-per-view in Greensboro?
Yeah, again,
should they give a ringside ticket to John Hitchcock?
Oh, just so he'll bring a decent sign, possibly.
There's no way they could do that event without him with a sign. He had signs for that specific event they're referencing in '88.
Well, signs everywhere. Sign blocking out the scenery. But no. Then they should get all of front row section D. Find Casey O'Connor out there in Wyoming. But no, I don't know. I bet you Hitchcock will be there, because he probably can't miss seeing Flair and Sting in person one more time. But that's the thing. The pay-per-view is going to do whatever the pay-per-view does based on whatever they put on it, and how they build it. So we know that, and that's up in the air, and it's coming 2 months after the end of the world as we know it. And Tony feels fine on December 30th, so they're coming back 2 months later. I don't know how much Sting's retirement at this point match is going to add to their pay-per-view buys of the audience that normally doesn't buy their pay-per-views. I got to get this one. But I'm saying that they will probably get more significant interest in the local market, in the local area for the live event than they normally have been because of who's involved in that. But as we've kind of seen, the AEW fans that buy the pay-per-views, they're going to buy their pay-per-views are always within the same range, except when they did the 2 a week apart deal back in August and September. September fell in half, I guess.
Looks like Joe Biden dressed like Billy Graham.
Oh, superstar Billy Graham. Not even the evangelist.
Superstar Billy Graham, yeah, where he wore suits and his tie-dyed pants became like a tie-dyed shirt.
And then it became a tie-dyed diaper.
And then a tie-dyed wheelchair, and he was dying for like 35 years, 40 years.
You know, there has to be, and we're not making mockery of Superstar. He was a legend and an icon. We make mockery of everybody, but there has to be some kind of goddamn Guinness World Record there for being at death's door for half of your fucking life. He was 80 years old, right? Or thereabouts, close to, and he literally was sick and in and out of the hospital and or fearing for his life and getting organ transplants for the past 40 years.
Yeah. Since 1989, he's been on death's door. Literally since 89, he's been saying, like, it can happen at any time. And now it happened. Well, I don't know why we're laughing about this.
No, we shouldn't be laughing, but it's going to happen sooner or later. So you might as well predict it.
Ric Flair doesn't know how to be old man Ric Flair. I'm not even talking about in real life. I'm talking about on camera. Watching the promo, it was too much for this promo. He got all fired up for no reason. It was never like just mindless getting fired up. There were casual, let me tell you what I'm going to do, those kind of things. Not saying this needed to be that, but.
No, the reason he did it is because he knew that it had been deadly fucking dull so far to that point, and he overcompensated. That's what I believe.
He sure did. What do you think of this Flair run managing Sting so far? Are they getting anything out of it? They've done a couple of interviews together. How is he managing Sting? What have they done at the ring with Flair being a manager or besides he got in a little boxing match with Christian Cage? It's not a run of him managing. It's a run of him showing up at random places to talk about the retirement match. It would blow the fans' minds. They should have him come out next week with women on each arm. People lose their shit. Oh, people will go crazy.
Oh,
he's a pervert. He's a pervert. He should never be near women.
And they should be wearing stewardess outfits.
Oh, no. See, that's too far. You've taken it way too far. You've taken it way. It's too soon. Too soon.
But they should be the original models that he used at the Clash of Champions in '89 with the Aqua Steamboat. If they could find them, dress them up like stewardesses, they're all 70. Then what would they say? At least he's sticking to people of his own age group. You got to admire that.
Where did they get those girls? Like for Bash 89 when he comes out for the Funk match and he had whatever, like 6 girls, 3 on each arm. Where'd they find those girls?
No, they would call modeling agencies. Those women had no idea who we were, who Flair was, who any of these people. A few of them found out who he was after the fact, but they were just hired to be models. That's why they didn't look like any of our hot female fans. They looked like phony fucking magazine cover models because they were making themselves up and shit to get on magazine covers, not to get laid by the fucking boys. So our female fans were actually hotter, but they were all dolled up better, more professionally. But nevertheless, yeah, I've heard I would, dictate that somebody get 6 models for Ric Flair and blah, blah. So they didn't know what the fuck was going on. That's why they stood there with those blank looks on their faces and just lined up in line as he would come by or whatever.
Bash 89, when he does like the first woo, one of the girls turns to the other girl and she's never heard it before. She goes, woo.